We got Dragon Ball Super. We got One Piece. We got NBA. We got White Man Dan. We got gaming stuff. This is the expansion pack. All right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 3, so we're rolling them on with them.
Hey, man, bringing them.
3-man crew again. So me, Jordan, and Dan. So we're going to go ahead and give you what we got. So, of course, this is our Super segment, so we're going to go ahead and go over this episode of Super. I think it was a little bit special, but Jordan, let's go ahead and get that recap on that one, though.
All right. So what happened in this episode of Super? All right, so like we said last time, Jiren's going to fight the last 4 remaining people from our universe. Frieza, Goku, Vegeta, and 17. So the episode starts off that Goku, Vegeta, and 17 are basically ganging up on Jiren, and Jiren also did a little power-up thing. What that actually meant for his power, I don't know.
It was so strong. We felt it from away from the battlefield.
I know. I felt it, but then it looked like he was doing the same thing he was doing anyway. So whatever. Anyway. So they're fighting them. Goku comes up with the genius plan of, if we catch him off guard and hit him really, really hard.
Nah, 17.
No, yeah, 17 did it, and then Goku's like, oh, I realized how to beat him. So 17, what happens is he ends up being able to hit Jiren with a really hard blast in the back. Pause. Anyway, so he hits him with a really hard blast in the back, and he couldn't get away from his own attack, and it sends him flying and hurts him himself. And then Goku comes up with the plan is, if me and Vegeta distract him and you hit him really, really hard, we might be able to hurt him. So we go into that. They try to do it again. Jiren's like, I'm not falling for that twice. He ends up wrecking them a little bit. Frieza comes back from God knows where, gets wrecked, and then he's off the scene. He literally had like 2 minutes of camera time. And then 17 was kind of the MVP, I guess, for this episode.
Yeah.
He ends up saving Goku and Vegeta, who are like tapped out of energy reserves, like they're on the ground, just tired. 17 fights off one of Jiren's blasts that would knock all of them off, and in order to like get it away, he puts a force field around Goku and Vegeta and self-destructs in order to stop the blast. And that's basically how the episode ends. It looks like next week will be about Vegeta fighting Jiren, and apparently it says the fall of a prince or something along those lines. So maybe Vegeta's getting knocked out next week. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a review or the overview of the last episode.
Okay, so from what we got from that episode, we saw that they figured out a way to pretty much attack Jiren before you not get anything on the guy. So now they figured out a way to try to do something to him, whatever. There's a couple of things that we kind of were talking about that were a bit off as far as it just doesn't make sense. It was a decent episode, but the first thing I wanted to talk about was this, and the first thing I want to talk about was the blast. Okay, so Jiren's putting this energy blast that's supposedly supposed to blow him off the map. Okay. Now the thing that irked me a little bit was the fact that the thing that irked me about that was 17 had to self-destruct to prevent that blast from getting them off the map or whatever. Why is it that you have to use self-destruction to stop a blast that's not supposed to be lethal? Now I understand that he had to self-destruct to prevent that blast from even touching them, but it seems a little bit far-fetched that
that's not lethal.
that's the thing that they had to do. It would seem like if he just, if he just covered Goku and Vegeta and took that blast to the chest, he would have died.
Yeah.
You had to die to prevent it, but if it hit you, you won't die.
So we were talking about that before. It seems like the only people that even mention about having some sort of hindrance.
Yeah.
Was like even Frieza. Frieza comes in this episode and says, "Oh, I don't care about the rules anymore. I'm gonna kill you."
It immediately came in and said that first thing. I don't care about the rules. I must be the one to kill you.
But when Jiren powers up, and Jiren's already more powerful than Goku and Vegeta, so when he powers up and he sends this blast at him, and like you said, he has to self-destruct.
Right.
How was that not going to kill him? Was he aiming for the rock that they were on?
Right. What
was
were they even
aiming for them? Like, they're on the ground exhausted, and they're like powered down. So, like, they're defenseless for the most part. You
would think that a blast that you have to self-destruct to stop, you would think that if you did not self-destruct, it would kill you.
Yeah. And like, I understand the aspect of the self-destruct because it's like he's so powerful that like I have to blow myself up just to match his output.
Like,
but it's just like
understandable, but it's just, man,
it's just really like, how is that not going to kill you?
You didn't explain that very well.
No,
it wasn't explained very well.
Just like the Kamehameha to the face. It just doesn't make sense. Like how this stuff isn't lethal.
And so we go back. So we cover that one, and then the one I want to go to originally was that stupid ass conversation that 17 and Goku had, where it's if you hit him really, really hard while he's distracted, we can hurt him. First of all, what are y'all doing when all three of you are fighting him? Are y'all all throwing the same punch in the same area? Like, that's the purpose of jumping somebody. So
you're supposed to get him off guard.
Right, so you're getting them off guard. So are y'all just, the whole series, have y'all been jumping people incorrectly?
You guys need to go on the streets of Chicago, see how you can properly jump somebody.
Like, they really don't know how to properly fight somebody. It's 3 against 1. Somebody should have hit him in the dick, somebody should have hit him in the back of the ear, and somebody's fighting them face up.
Poke him in the eye, those big old eyes.
Like, what are you doing? Oh, we just figured this out now. Like,
I don't know. Like, my thing is, like, if you have a 3-on-1, isn't it common sense that you're going, like, someone's distracting, someone's going for, like, a fatal blow? Like, I think that's common sense. The fact that Goku, and the way he said it, I don't know it verbatim, like, how it was translated, but the way he said, you could have said it so much smarter.
Like, maybe
like, hey, we'll distract him. You keep going for those hits, right? Or something along those lines.
Maybe it was like it could have been translated better.
I hope it was. I really, really hope it was.
Yeah,
like
it just sounded stupid. Like, okay, we're gonna distract him, and then you hit him with really hard blasts.
Yeah, he's like, I figured out how to beat him. I'm like, oh crap, Goku's thinking. Like, what is he about to come up with? And he goes, if you keep hitting him with a strong blast, we can hurt him. I'm like, what have you guys been doing this whole time,
dude? Like, what the hell? And then on top of that, it's like, and then that completely gets wiped because Jiren's like,
real quick. Do you remember? Did you ever see the Cooler movie, The Revenge of Cooler, when he's metal?
Yeah.
So, Team 4-Star made fun of him because they're like, what did they say? They're like, oh, we figured out how to beat these robots, the ones that Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin are fighting. Like, if you focus all your energy into one point of your punch and hit them, you can beat them. And then Team 4-Star turns around and goes like, if you hit them really, really hard, you can break them.
Whoa.
Whoa. It's like, what have you guys been doing this whole time?
I mean, and that's essentially what they're saying. That's what they've been rolling with.
Dragon Ball Super's like logic is like a little over the place. And this is another topic I was going to talk to you about was, like, we're talking about, like, when you bring logic to a table, like, it's supposed to make sense and it's supposed to, do a full circle. Like, it's not supposed to be broken too many times. And before this tournament started, they said there was a ban on, like, items. So, like, senzu beans, right?
Yeah. You can't use any items to help yourself.
Exactly. And since we're talking about 17, the utility of 17 is he has unlimited stamina. So it made sense that he's the one that's supposed to hit really, really hard because he can keep dishing out those strong-ass moves. But what I've noticed is these guys everybody has unlimited energy. I don't see any, like, the only point where energy comes into play is for a story point. Like, 17 blowing himself up, it was just Goku and Vegeta couldn't move just so 17 couldn't blow himself up.
Right.
But if you even look in the last episode when we were talking about this,
when he used that move to defeat Topo,
that was supposed to be all his energy. They made it a point to say Vegeta used all his energy to knock him out.
Right.
Which once again wasn't lethal, but that's neither here or there. So when you go to that and then you come back and go, okay, literally within 5 minutes, Vegeta's back into his Super Saiyan Blue Ascended mode, whatever it's called. They haven't given it a name.
He just jumps right back into it.
He just jumps right into it. And it's like there's no stamina issues. And Goku...
It's funny because Jiren's been the one that's kind of been commenting on the dumb assery that's been happening. So Jiren's like, you're not going to be able to defeat me with those wounds.
Yeah,
You know, he says that. It's like, and Vegeta's like, oh, screw that. I don't care. I'm gonna, you know, and then also when they were doing that sneak attack when 17 was, the second time 17 was trying to hit him with that ki blast, Jiren essentially stopped it and he was like, I'm not going to let that happen again.
Yeah.
And so it's just, Jiren's out here just completely wiping the damn story. Like, he's so strong, he's breaking the fourth wall. Like, damn, okay.
He knows where we're coming from.
Right.
Jiren, like I said, and that's what blows my mind is Dragon Ball Super did such a great job building up Jiren's character. He says what we're thinking.
Yeah.
He sits there, says what we're thinking, and then they just come back with Goku and Vegeta or whatever and just breaks the logic that they just built up. You know? And one thing that I was gonna note is, like you said, like the wounds and all that. 17, his utility was and 18 where they don't run out of energy.
Right.
So when he blows himself up, and Goku and Vegeta get right back up, and now they can go on their Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken.
We took even just for a moment of rest.
Yeah. That's not enough.
That's not enough time, bro.
In Dragon Ball Z, they proved that that's not enough.
Yeah.
So. That's what the point of sensu beans were.
Right.
So you bring it back and you go like, what was the point of 17 coming in and playing this big role of I'm supposed to be the guy that like can keep fighting and distracting people?
They're getting to the point where they're even wiping out what the hell a sensu bean does.
Yeah.
Like it helps everybody else, but you're getting to the point where shit, if it only takes 2 real-time minutes for them to get better, then what's the point of having a damn sensu bean?
I don't know anymore. Like the energy thing is just like all over the place. All I remember is like Dragon Ball Z. Remember when Cell and Goku fought? Yeah. And Goku's like, oh, I'm tired. Like I wouldn't be able to beat him.
That was a huge, like he legit like gave it up and gave it to Gohan.
Yeah, like and he didn't take a sensu bean, and then he was getting beat by Cell Juniors, and he's like, oh, if I had my energy, I could actually fight them.
It's ridiculous.
Now in Super, it's like we're doing this tournament. They fought so many people. Goku's probably used Kamehameha, like the Kamehameha wave, like I don't know, it has to be over 10 times.
Yeah, you would think he'd be done.
He's been in Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken,
many a time.
He's in Ultra Instinct, which is apparently supposed to use so much energy, a lot. And then you look at Vegeta using this big blast, and he's been in this ascended blue form. It's just the logic, man. It's a little all over the place. Yeah. I don't know.
And the thing about this episode, where it's not as good as the last episode, you didn't get any like additional callbacks from that either. Like I didn't get. If you were to do a callback, it would have just made it worse. Because it would have made it more dumb. And just to finish it up, you would think that with the writers, with 17 having that unlimited stamina, you would think that they'd be able to find a better method of defeating Jiren. They really during episode 17 was really trying to get into Jiren's head,
and it looked like it was working.
It was working, and then bam, there that goes, and that's it. And I don't think, I mean, Vegeta's the great trash talker, but they wiped that out. Like when they were going with that method, like, okay, Jiren's mentally unstable. I was like,
it was something about this past thing, which the way they brought up the past was a little goofy.
Corn.
But
they were trying, and then you just wiped that. You just wiped that whole thing, and now it's like, well, now we go back to indestructible Jiren.
Yeah, basically.
We'll see you next week.
By the way, Vegeta's falling off the edge probably next week too.
Yeah,
so.
It seems like, and this isn't a spoiler. Like, you heard it here first.
Yeah. So, and this is where I'm I'm really interested to see how they finish it off.
Yeah.
I know we've been bashing Super a lot. We'll probably come back and say the good things that have happened.
Yeah,
throughout
but right now we're
gonna
let you know what's going on.
And where I'm coming at is like, so if Vegeta falls next week, that means that Frieza and Goku are the only ones left.
And my God, there should be no way.
And there should be no way.
There was no way.
There's no way. And what makes me sit there and like really question is Jiren hasn't really been trying that hard.
Nope.
Like he powered up, but he hasn't been using moves. He doesn't look like Toppo just throwing out like a Kai Blast or anything like that. He's not wasting a lot of energy. Even during the tournament, he's the only one that actually sat there and rested when he was doing this like little meditation thing.
Yeah.
So if Goku goes back and fights him, whether it goes in Ultra Instinct or whatever, that's gonna be a really hard point to sell for Super.
It'll be a stretch.
Yeah, it'll be a real big stretch. Yes, stretch.
Armstrong. All right, guys. We'll be back.
All right,
guys. Welcome back. So we're gonna go ahead and break into our One Piece segment. So Jordan, let's go ahead and get a overview as far as last week's manga.
Okay. All right. So this past week's manga was pretty good. First, we start off with Luffy having a flashback with when he was training with Riley, and Riley was explaining that Luffy is very good at sensing people's emotion through his observation haki. He has an ability that Riley hasn't really seen before. So we come back and we kind of see essence of it when he's fighting Katakuri. It seems like there's panels of Katakuri thinking, oh, like, come on, step up to the occasion, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not sure if that was him literally saying it or if that was Luffy sensing it from him. But yeah, they continue fighting. Luffy's doing okay, but for the most part, Katakuri's still running the fight. And basically they basically are just continuing the fight. And by the end of the chapter, Luffy reveals that he has a new gear, which is Gear 4th, Snake Man. So just curious to see what it ends up being. Some people are thinking that's going to be like a speed form of Gear 4th. I personally think it's going to more so be based on like kind of dodging or something, because snakes are kind of elusive. So we'll see what happens. It looks really interesting, but that's a pretty rough overview of the chapter for the week.
Okay. And just so our audience knows, I love you guys so much that I've taken it upon me to go ahead and join the One Piece world and give you guys a taste as far as how difficult it is to get into this as a newcomer. So I'll give you guys updates as far as where I'm at each week. I'm sure it's gonna be.
Are you saying you're watching the anime?
I'm gonna watch the whole damn anime.
That's respect.
I'm going to catch all of you.
That is respect.
All right,
guys. He loves you guys, because that's gonna be a big undertaking.
And I really wanted to just watch Martin from season 1 on through, but I've decided to not do that with Martin.
That's crazy.
He's being sarcastic. This sucks. All right. Well, with that being said, Jordan actually wanted to go ahead and break a list out for us, since his partner in crime for debating has not been here. Hate crime to Roy.
Dang.
Hate crime. Hate mail.
Sorry, Roy.
Hate crime to Roy's African, so that'd be hate crime as well. And also, Martin, you suck for not coming to either days too. But either way, Jordan, go ahead and give us that list, big guy.
I'll give you a second. All right. So I have a tier list. It won't be as entertaining as what Justin just said, but here's the tier list, and I want you guys to really, comment down below and let me know if you think I'm crazy or if you think that this list kind of makes sense where I'm coming from. So basically, I actually watched a video by a YouTuber named Frankie. He named the strongest to the weakest Straw Hat crew, and I wanted to do my own tier list of it. So especially with Luffy.
Frankie, we'll give you a shout out in the description. Don't get mad.
Okay. And hey, if you wanna, he has like 54,000 subscribers, so
cool.
Give us a shout out too. No, I'm just messing with him. All right. Anyway, so basically with this training arc with Luffy, I feel like this is kind of an appropriate time to do this tier list. So I have my handy dandy notebook. So of course the strongest member of the Straw Hat crew is Luffy, main character. automatically gets it.
Number 1.
There you go. Sorry. Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm going on the next one. So Luffy, Gear 4th, uber powerful. Every time he goes into it, he kind of takes control of the battle for that set period of time. And now with this introduction of like Tank Man, Bound Man, and Snake Man, he kind of takes the cake right now. He's fighting a number 1 commander or right hand man to a Yonko. Luffy's definitely number 1.
Number 2.
All right, number 2. Some people might argue this. This is Zoro for me. So, with the new introduction of Jinbei, this kind of adds a little kink into the big 3, which is Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro. Jinbei, I believe, is a little bit weaker than Zoro. So Zoro, when you look at how I compiled this, is kind of what the person's motivation is, and also the utility of their fighting ability and utility to the crew when it comes to combat. Zoro's motivation is to become the best swordsman, and I think with that, he automatically has to be the right hand man, and he has to be able to fight these strong opponents. When Luffy is fighting a Yonko, Zoro has to fight the right hand man. Story-wise, it always goes that way. Luffy fights the number 1, Zoro fights the number 2. So I think Zoro is up there, but the feats in the New World, he hasn't really had an opponent that's really pushed him, and he's had strong opponents, but for the most part, he's wiped the floor with them, especially with Pika. And coming into the next story arc, which is going to be Wano, I think he's going to definitely get stronger there, and we're going to see more of his ability. So I give number 2 to Zoro.
Number 3.
Number 3, obviously I just mentioned him. This might hurt a little Sanji fanboys, but I think it's Jinbei now. What we've seen is Jinbei is strong. We've known that since the beginning. One of the first times we met him, he was a warlord already. He was able to fight Ace, Luffy's brother, for a day straight or whatever ridiculous amount of time it was. And he was a captain of his crew, the Sun Pirate, the Fishman Pirates. Sorry, there we go. And even in the last few chapters, he knocked off Big Mom off their ship. He's pretty powerful, especially since he'll be around water majority of the time. In the water, fishmen aren't really messed with, so I think Jinbei is definitely a strong number 3. Him and Zoro are really close.
Number 4.
Number 4, Sanji. Sanji, we already know his combat ability is there, but I have to rank him number 4 because, and with I think a pretty decent power gap between Jinbei and Sanji, because we've seen the extent of his abilities. When he fought Doflamingo, he got wrecked by Doflamingo. I don't think that it would go the same way if it was Jinbei or Zoro. Sanji, we have really yet to see him make any combat feats. He's made a cake. Good for you, but nothing really combat-wise. But we already know he definitely is one of the stronger crewmates, so I will give him number 4.
Number 5. That's 5 in French.
Oh, nice. Oh. For your French viewers out there. Number 5, this also might cause a little discrepancies, but I'm going to give it to Brook. Brook has been almost the MVP. I want to give Brook the MVP of the Whole Cake Island arc. Brook has been doing everything for the crew. He's gotten the Poneglyph. He's fought Big Mom one-on-one. He's put damage on Big Mom's souls with Prometheus. I think it was Prometheus. Yeah, he injured Prometheus. Brook has been on his P's and Q's this whole arc, and I think that his strength has definitely stepped it up from before the time skip. And I have to give it to Brook. Brook has been on point, and he's been a great swordsman too. So no one's really messing with Brook this arc.
Number 6.
6, I'm going to give it to Robin. Robin is very, very useful in a fight. So Robin, she can take out a lot of opponents at once. We saw that in Fishman Island. We've seen it even when she was first introduced back in the Crocodile arc. She just has always been strong. I think that Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji definitely took a leap up above her, because when they first introduced her, she was definitely in their ranks. But now she's gotten stronger since the time skip. She can fly. She really hasn't even really been pushed herself. So, and she's also very combatantly smart. So I definitely give it to her because I think the utility of her fighting someone and fighting a big group of people is pretty high. And she's very smart in a fight.
Number 7.
All right, another probably controversial one. I'm going to give it to Chopper now. Chopper, the reason I give it to Chopper is because now he's mastered his monster point. With his monster point, he can put out a lot of damage. He can take out a lot of hits. He always has the capability to go into it now. So it's no longer something he has to really work at or really like go out of his way or be unconscious when he's in that form. Chopper is really smart as well. They hinted before he has an ability to find people's weaknesses. They haven't really showed that since, but if he still has that ability, that is going to be very vital, I think, especially in this Wano Kuni arc that's coming up. And like I said, Chopper, he's been pulling his weight as well in this arc, and he also was able to beat Brûlé and take advantage of her power. So he definitely is strong. He's taken out a couple of Big Mom pirates, and I think we're going to keep seeing him getting better.
Number 8.
Number 8 is Frankie. I feel like Frankie's a little low, but you have to hear me out on this one. So Frankie is strong. No one's arguing that. Frankie is a good pirate, a good asset to the pirate crew. However, I think that he's cut a little short. So what we saw in when they were going against the Doflamingo family in Dressrosa was that he fought. He got into a slugfest with him, and it was solid, but the dude wasn't ridiculously strong. I think Frankie's best utility is when he's in the Frankie Shogun, the big robot, but he doesn't always have access to that, and that's why I'm ranking him at 8th right now. Until he shows more feats, I will put him at a strong 8.
Strong 9.
Strong 9. The strong 9 is Nami. Nami has shown in this arc that she also is useful in combat. She helped Luffy fight Katakuri, or not Katakuri, I'm sorry, Cracker, and now she's helping him fight, and then she also is helping the crew escape from Big Mom. Nami, I think Oda said Nami is definitely one of the smartest people in the One Piece universe, and her capability of using and taking advantage of the weather is very good. It's just that the only problem is if she is not a sponge. If she gets hit hard, she gets kind of down, and a lot of her moves have to be set up. She can't just fight someone one-on-one. So therefore, that puts her near the low tier, but she's not at the bottom. And last but not least,
Number 10.
Number 10 is Usopp. Usopp, I think, has the 3rd highest bounty on the crew, but Usopp is definitely the weakest. Usopp is a great sniper. He's a great tactician, but he's not the strongest Straw Hat. I'm sorry for all you Usopp fans out there. He definitely has he has quirky abilities and stuff, and now he unlocked observation hockey, or a form of it. I just don't see him being extremely useful in a one-on-one fight, though. So that's my tier list. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you want to rail me, but hey, I think that's a solid, strong to our tier list for the crew.
We're gonna take it a step further. Watch Mojo. What you got?
Oh,
all right.
Calling people out.
All these little lists and stuff. What you got? Okay. We're ready. We'll take you on any day. I don't know what the hell you just said, but I'm rocking with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Expansion pack. We stay together.
Let's do it. All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and what was we talking about? Oh yeah, Roy's not here again. I'm sorry. I forgot because Roy's not here again. Hey, Roy. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump over to NBA next. We'll be back.
Welcome back, guys. We're back on the NBA. And I am the moderator now, and Justin's gonna be the NBA analyst. So, last week we had a lot of trades. lot of trades, and now we have a different NBA than we originally started off with. So what's your take on it, Justin? What did you see with these trades? Who do you think walked away the strongest? Who do you think walked away the weakest?
So essentially trade deadline ended last week, and what we got out of it was we didn't really have any blockbuster trades. We didn't have a lot of the trades that we were talking about earlier, as far as like DeAndre leaving LA to go to Cleveland. So a lot of the stuff that we were speculating in years before, those things would usually work, or those things usually happen. This year we really got a 360 on that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna go over all the trades. I'm gonna go over the ones that I think matter the most.
Okay.
The first thing is that Utah, I'm just going in any order, but Utah now has Derrick Rose, Joe Johnson, or they just got rid of Joe Johnson, but they have Derrick Rose and Jay Crowder.
Actually, update to that. They dropped Derrick Rose, and now the Bulls are picking up Derrick Rose.
I didn't know that. Good job, Jordan.
Hey, I told you I was stepping up my NBA,
baby. All right, well, that's what happened there. But either way, Utah had dropped Joe Johnson and another fella, and made a pretty much they were a stepping stone for Cleveland to make the moves they needed to do. Same thing for Sacramento. Sacramento got rid of a couple folks and ended up taking some of Cleveland's garbage. The biggest thing I want to say to the East, and I think not a lot of people are going to notice this, but Greg Monroe being traded over to the Celtics is a really big thing that fortifies them at the front court now. So now you have a little bit stronger front court. They really didn't get rid of anything. So if anything, I think it makes them a stronger team for sure. Of course, Miami, Dwayne Wade's back in Miami, which is whatever.
Can I make one point real quick? I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but can we all agree that Dwayne Wade just won the past like 2 to 3 years? Basically, he didn't get the contract he wanted with Miami.
I'll tell you who won. Miami won. Dwayne Wade thinks he won. Miami won.
Really? You think
we'll
so?
Get into that.
Okay,
though.
We'll talk about that.
But essentially, everything that happened trade-wise really doesn't matter, because the biggest thing is that Cleveland completely dumped their roster to a bunch of different teams in the league. Some teams are better suited. I think who won most out of that next to Cleveland would pretty much be LA. LA got Isaiah, and they have a crap ton of cap space for next year. You know they're bringing in a big fish. But the biggest thing was Cleveland doing whatever the hell Cleveland was doing. We'll talk about that though. But
yeah, actually Isaiah Thomas' first game I think was 20. He scored 22 points,
22, 6, and I think something else. I don't know. But
it was pretty solid. It was pretty solid.
It's not bad.
So you mentioned Cleveland a couple times, and if you have been keeping up with the NBA in the slightest, you noticed that Cleveland was for the most part the most prominent team. Making moves. What do you make of it? I don't know. Do you think they're stronger? Do you think they're weaker? Does it help them?
So here's the thing. With Cleveland, the first thing that everyone was saying as soon as the season started was that Cleveland was a lock because of the players they had, and that's because they had so much star power. You had Derrick Rose, you had Dwayne Wade, you got Isaiah Thomas, you brought in good role players, you still got a good core of the guys you have, and of course we saw what happened with that was kind of mediocre basketball, to say the most. I would say that, especially with the guys they have. So you have the things that's going on where essentially there's so much frustration in the locker room where the team essentially imploded, and that's where we had this huge change of the team at the trade deadline. So Cleveland got in Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder. Cleveland got rid of Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder. Cleveland brought in Derrick Rose. They got rid of Derrick Rose. They brought in Dwayne Wade. They got rid of Dwayne Wade. And on top of that, they were also chunking some of the guys already on the team. So Iman Shumpert and Channing Frye, I believe, are in Sacramento now. And those guys were pretty solid pieces for that team. And so pretty much you're left with George Hill, Larry Nance Jr., who else we got there? Jordan Clarkson is on the team as well. Those are three of the big names that pretty much joined the team, and there's a few other guys that they got, but they also got rid of their first round draft pick, not the one they have that's not the one that's protected, not the big dog one, but their own first round draft pick, which wasn't going to be too high.
Nah, that's not a big deal.
So my thing about this is everyone's going to now say, okay, well now they're a better suited team because they're younger. No, they're not younger. I mean, they are younger, but you also have to understand the guys that they have, they do not have the experience to really just go out there and ball out and straight gel like that.
That's very true.
These aren't superstars you traded for. These are barely all-stars you just traded for. These guys are really young, and yeah, it'll probably work in a little bit, but we don't know how long LeBron's staying there. As far as this move for Cleveland, I think that this was a move for Dan Gilbert more so than it was for LeBron. And I think this was a big foot for Dan Gilbert. I think it was a classy move because he didn't just completely sell that team out. He did get in good assets. He brought in good guys that can help support LeBron and help them, pretty much a lot of role players, and now they're going to run off of LeBron. But on top of that, though, the next thing is, this guy's old. Are we really about to sit there and run a whole team off LeBron James back again? Exactly, and I don't think that Tyronn Lue's a good enough coach to really get those guys in gear by the time the playoffs roll. If it happens, I'll eat my words. That's fine, but I'm gonna go out on a limb right now and tell you guys that I really don't see. I already said Cleveland wasn't making it to the finals. I think they have a lesser chance to make it to the finals now, and I also think it's gonna depend on how Kevin Love is when he comes back on that 8th week, because he's not coming back within 6.
I just want to let the audience know the depth of Justin's foresight. He called this before the season even started, I think.
Oh, yeah.
He called that the Cavaliers wouldn't be making the final.
I said the Cavaliers were going to suck.
Yeah.
And they suck.
Yeah. So just that's what we're working with, guys. So just to let you know, this is expertise.
The 2 additional things I want to get to. One, the Dwayne Wade thing.
Oh, yeah. Coming back to Dwayne Wade, yeah.
We're in Chicago, guys. Dwayne Wade, when he left Miami for that $2 million, because Miami didn't want to give him additional $2 million, which I think he deserved. But he came to Chicago, and everyone was so excited about coming to Chicago. And I said,
He's coming back home.
guys, Dwayne Wade coming to Chicago doesn't mean anything. Him coming to Chicago isn't because, he loves Chicago so much, and he's always wanted to play in Chicago.
If anything, it made it worse.
And be a Bull. Yeah. He literally came to Chicago because Chicago was giving him one of the top offers in the league, and that we would actually take him. Yeah, he maybe came over because he's from Robbins, so that's cool and all. But at the end of the day, he came back just for the money. And when you saw that he came back for the money, you guys should have knew that he was leaving. He was going to leave. In the middle of the damn season, the dude quit, and the only reason why he was supposed to be out for the season with, I think, maybe 20 games left in the season. He was supposed to be out for the season. I think it was a wrist. I think you hurt his wrist or something like that.
My wrist.
And if you watch the league enough, you'll see that at the end of the season, superstars that are on bad teams, something will happen and they'll stop playing. And that's something that Dwayne Wade, we already know that he's fragile right now. So when he left out, and the only reason why he came back to play is because Jimmy Butler got them back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what, I'll come back and play. Rondo was supposed to be out. Rondo was actually for the Bulls. The Bulls shouldn't have got rid of Rondo. Rondo and Jimmy were the 2 guys that were for the Bulls, and I recall, you guys don't keep up with the Bulls that much, but we had a lot of locker room talk where Rondo's calling out Jimmy Butler. He's calling out D-Wade for not being good leaders. And with that being said, when Dwayne Wade took that buyout, he was opting for that buyout off the bat, and then to go to Cleveland for $2 million, we should have never picked him up.
Yeah,
and even
that was a little petty.
As I said before, that this whole project wasn't going to work because they did not have any defense on Cleveland. So when Dwayne Wade goes back to Miami, that's not, Dwayne Wade's doing anybody a solid. That's just Dwayne Wade being a diva and doing what he's doing, hopping around and going back to his girl. What do you think he did with Gabrielle Union? He did the same shit in the league. He hopped around, did his thing, came on back. You would expect that from someone with that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that Dwayne Wade's a bad guy, but at the end of the day, a lot of people aren't as loyal as you think they are. And even with Pat Riley, giving Dwayne Wade $20 million, I think is fair because we all saw how Dwayne Wade was that last season in Miami. He was fragile. He missed a lot of games, So yeah, you're going to take another pay cut, and it sucks, but you're getting paid a lot more than you deserve. Yeah. You don't deserve $20 million right now, Dwayne Wade.
That's just off the name.
And then to go with that and go into LeBron, it was bad leadership. once LeBron left Miami, there was bad leadership on that Miami team. That's why it didn't work so well. That bad leadership jumped ship from Miami to Chicago. Terrible leadership in Chicago. That's why Chicago underperformed so well, or so much. And then we jumped from Chicago to Cleveland. Bad leadership between LeBron and Dwayne Wade because they're so buddy-buddy that they're really throwing off the chemistry of the team. The reason why I say that LeBron is not the greatest is because LeBron is not a leader. LeBron is too much of a crybaby to be a leader. Part of being a leader is being able to rally your troops and make sure that we don't have locker room issues. And if we do have locker room issues, you're with the majority that's not causing it. And the person that's causing it, y'all need to get the hell up out of here. That's not LeBron's MO. A lot of guys, like when Kyrie left, I knew why Kyrie left. We know why Kyrie left. Kyrie told you why he left. And the rest of the guys that are just sitting there, they were just sitting there because, you know what? I got a chip. I can't do nothing with it. JR wasn't anything until he got to Cleveland. Iman, not a thing until he got to Cleveland. K-Love, you know, he had moderate success, but wasn't anything before he got to Cleveland. Channing Frye, same thing. No one else came in with, you know, the pedigree to really roll with LeBron like that. And it's just, it says a lot that someone like Kyrie Irving, who really seems to be about basketball, really couldn't rock with LeBron like that. And if you look into his past, you'll see that other players will call him out on these things. His last playoff series in Cleveland before he went to Miami, he quit on that team. His teammates will tell you that. Getting his ass kicked in the finals by San Antonio, he quit during that time frame. His teammates will tell you that. You know, you'll hear those things. When they got exposed against Dallas, he quit in Dallas. He underperformed. And I'm not saying that LeBron James isn't the greatest basketball player on earth. I'm not saying that he's not, you know, top 10. What I'm saying is LeBron James is such a mental puss that he can't be that guy to really just... He's not Mike because he doesn't have the mindset. He's not Kobe because he doesn't have the mindset. These guys have the mindsets. They're leaders. They may have their own ways of being leaders, but at the end of the day, they have the qualities and capabilities of a leader, where LeBron just has the physical capabilities, but not the mental capabilities. And so that's why I think that Cleveland blew up even this year, because you have guys like Derrick Rose who also have that kind of, you know, we had that issue when he came back in Chicago. We have the same problem where it's too many minds in there, too many alpha males. And a good leader can deal with another alpha male, and they can become stronger with that. LeBron James can't deal with that. That's why Miami had their issues when they first started, and Dwayne Wade had to back up and say this is LeBron's team, because that first season, the first half of the second season, they weren't, you know, there were issues there because they were trying to establish dominance. And instead of working with his team, he was being crybaby LeBron, and Dwayne Wade just said, screw it, you can have it. And that's why I worked a little bit better. So I think the guys that Cleveland got, they're not gonna challenge LeBron. Isaiah challenged LeBron. Derek challenged LeBron. You know, there's guys that challenge LeBron, but the dudes is coming in, they're younger. They don't have anything, so they're just trying to get what they need to get, and they're gonna follow the footsteps of LeBron James. So I think
they idolize him already.
Yeah, like you have to idolize LeBron to be able to play with him. But I think this team will be a better defensive team.
They'll try on defense.
They'll definitely try on defense. To be honest with you, I think they have a better chance to get into the finals with this team than they did with the last team, just because they have guys that can play defense and they have guys that will be role players versus doing outside stuff. But I really would put my money on Boston, though.
Boston is looking really strong.
Yeah. So I'm sorry for being long-winded, but I'll give you guys a whole thing as far as why I'm telling you, like, Kobe's better than LeBron. I'll give you that. So
we'll have
if you
to
need
bring
to hear
in a
about
LeBron
that, let me
fan
know.
at some point, so you guys just don't get mad, especially if you're LeBron fan.
And I'll body them too.
I'll
body them too.
We'll find someone. We'll find someone.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the NBA talk. Justin gave his opinion. Now you know why he doesn't like LeBron James so much. We'll get back to you with the DLC.
All right, guys, welcome back. Segment with Dan here. We're gonna go ahead and go with that DLC. Dan, what you got for us this week?
Well, this week's on Dan's Luxuries comments.
That's 3. Go ahead.
We have.
I'm peeping that.
we have. On Tuesday, we had a monumental achievement with space exploration with SpaceX and Elon Musk sending a rocket into space. This was the first rocket on Earth. It broke all the records of being the most powerful, being able to lift the most cargo loads into outer space. So it kind of sets another step towards their vision of colonizing the universe, basically, starting with Mars or the moon or whatever.
Why haven't I heard about this?
I'm not sure. I mean, SpaceX, they've been around for a while. I mean,
like, you keep saying SpaceX. I'm like, what is SpaceX?
So, you know Tesla?
Yeah, I know what Tesla
the
is.
car.
Yeah.
The owner of Tesla.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
He wanted to go to space, so he created a company, SpaceX, to launch rockets into space.
Why are we letting him just go into space?
I mean, billionaires, but he actually has a positive message. He felt that space exploration and rocketry and everything with NASA, that the costs were just absurd. He didn't understand why. So he went amongst himself. He did the technology. He funded research, and then now he's making space exploration basically more affordable.
So it's more efficient.
Yeah. So like before, like with NASA, with the shuttles, I'm pretty sure you remember as like a kid, it goes up, everything comes off, and it crashes in the ocean.
Yeah.
And like you can't use that again. Well, his vision now is that you can launch a rocket into space. The first half of the rocket that gets it off the ground basically will actually detach, flip around, and fly back to Earth and land, so that you don't waste those materials, and then you can actually put gas back into that, put another rocket on top of it, and launch using the same exact first stage. And that's where they're becoming, like, with the financial reasons of using these rockets, is that it's affordable. Like, it's so affordable now, he's even talking about in the future replacing airplanes, where everybody's gonna get onto a rocket, they're gonna launch, and then now instead of taking a 20-hour flight from LA to China, it's gonna take you 20 minutes. You're gonna launch into space, and then you're gonna come down and you're gonna land. Like that's one of his future visions, outside of obviously going to Mars and putting people on Mars.
Is Elon Musk crazy?
He's crazy, but I mean, enough money will make anybody crazy. So, but because he's in Tesla, obviously, he's making big moves with not only automotive industry of the battery car, but he's also making like roofs, solar power roofs that are replacing roofing tiles and having miniature solar panels, so that your house can run off battery essentially. And then you saw after the hurricane in Puerto Rico, they installed their Tesla batteries to help with renewable resources to help them through their disaster. And then he has a company where he drills holes in mountains and makes highways and stuff for transportation as far as subways or trains, or ideally his future is a high-speed rail system, kind of like what they have in China.
Is he really trying to help people, or is he just being cocky right now?
People think that he's being cocky, like with the rocket that was just launched.
Because that sounds like too much. Like you're doing too much.
Yeah, he comes up with these ideas, and then they seem insane, and then they end up working for him. I don't know if he's just gambling and lucking out, or if there's actually a true method to his madness.
I would have to imagine that NASA clearly.
But for you to sit there and be
funded.
like, you know what? I want to reuse a rocket. Like, not many people are sitting there. People are like, I just want to go to space.
Isn't that what they pay NASA to think about, though?
Well, he's not NASA.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you would think that something like that's such a good idea that it would have been thought of already.
That's true, but they were government funded, and government jobs, they aren't really true with their funding. That's why we have these budget problems and stuff, but that's another story. But I mean, it's a large step, and like we were saying before about him being cocky, the rocket on Tuesday, he put his own sports car in the front of it and launched it into space so that it can orbit Mars. People are like, what's the purpose of putting a car in space? Like, you can go online right now, they're live streaming. Literally, there's a dude, a dummy or a mannequin in the driver's seat, and there's a camera on it, and his car.
A bad word. Or mannequin. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Correct.
These days, you don't know who's offended, but and yeah, his car is in space, flying at 200 some odd miles per second, and they're actually Tesla's using the advertising saying that they're the fastest car in space. So it is pretty funny, but I mean, it was a test launch. And everything on the car they had small knickknacks here and there, so it's not a joke or being cocky. CDs in the back with all of the world languages and information. So if anybody were to in space encounter this car, they would have all of the human knowledge. They have music playing, and I don't know. It puts a new spin on what people are doing nowadays and what's possible. Like, obviously kids keep dreaming because there is no limit.
You know what? And I'm telling you, like, the actual title for this is Elon Musk an asshole? Because that, like, all of that sounds cool, but at the same time, it's like, cut it out.
Well, he just started mass producing flamethrowers. Like,
I saw that one. Yeah. I saw that one, like.
So, like, yeah, he's making flamethrowers readily available for people to buy on the internet. Yeah, so.
And apparently they're extremely efficient.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his videos, he has videos of him using them, and like these aren't no like Vietnam flamethrowers. Like, this is all like, it looks like it's from Destiny. It's all plastic coated and nice and sleek, and just flames shoot out the front of it.
That's nuts, dude.
But so, yeah, that's. I mean, it's a big step for mankind. It would be our generation's moon landing per se, with something that powerful going into space, and like so much ingenuity and thoughts. And I mean, we just have to wait until he comes up with another crazy idea and just expect it to happen.
All right. Well, you got anything else, Dan?
No, I think that's it. I'm gonna do some research. We got the Winter Olympics coming. Not many people are into that except for me. And
you know what? Speed skating's cool as hell.
Speed skating, yeah, but I like the luge and the bobsledding and flying through the air and trying to see how far you can fly and that stuff. So I'll be reviewing that and probably have something to say about that on my next week's segment. So stay tuned.
Be on the lookout. All right, guys, we're gonna jump into gaming. We back. All right, guys, welcome back. So we're on our last segment here. Of course, we have the family.
Yeah.
We're triplets now. All right, but now we're going to go ahead and talk about gaming. And the topic that we wanted to get into was going to be gaming innovation. Ooh. So essentially, what we see from gaming nowadays is it's not just all about the graphics, or not even nowadays, but in the recent past, it wasn't necessarily just about the graphics. We ran to a thing where, what are your accessories? What else can this system do? Mm-hmm. And so that's going to reach out from like PlayStation with PlayStation Move to even going back as far as when the Wii first dropped. And then we also, even with the addition of applications on your PlayStation or Xbox, have the ability to watch Netflix and other things of that nature on there. So all of these things are different innovations that video games are going into. And so we really want to talk about what systems, what companies are being the most innovative, what's good ideas, what are bad ideas. So we're just going to go into that. So Jordan, what you got for us right now?
All right. So first I want to start off with is, like we said, the accessories. Yeah. So one thing that I've noticed with Microsoft and Sony is whenever they try to introduce something different, or like accessories that go with the PS4 or the PlayStation or the Xbox, it always flops. It seems like it always flops. You have the VR, did awful. You have the cameras, they did awful. Xbox even was trying to package their Kinect with the Xbox One.
Yeah. They just announced
just to get the things out there.
Right.
They just announced that they're no longer adding Kinects to Xbox packages
because they realized maybe this wasn't a good idea.
And I remember the Xbox Kinect. That one was actually relatively expensive for the 360, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it's like,
it didn't really do
I
anything.
don't want to spend that much money, especially when game developers aren't even really focusing on that kind of stuff. Like, you're not gonna get some extremely amazing game for these accessories. It's difficult to make games for those, or for these accessories, and I'm just surprised that they keep trying to do different things when they already know what's working. PlayStation and Xbox, you get a good system out. For the most part, they've taken the philosophy of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They have if you have a PS3, what we're going to do is we're going to make it a stronger system, and we're going to give it better graphics and call it a PS4. Xbox, same thing. Xbox 360, Xbox One kind of thing.
The thing that I noticed, the stuff that they really try to push, if you see it on Taco Bell commercials, don't do it. If you see it as a sweepstakes and Doritos, don't do it.
Just get your chalupa and leave.
Get your chalupa and get the hell up out of there. You shouldn't be getting that either way. And that's on the bad side.
That's
on the
good side.
On the good side, of course, we got to talk about Nintendo. Now,
fantastic.
The Wii, Jordan looked it up. The Wii actually sold like amazingly. The Wii U sucked, and then the Switch is doing pretty really well. And you got to think about it though. The things that Nintendo is actually offering to you and has always offered to you have always been kind of next level. You know, so like that Wii, it was kind of dumb, but it's pretty next level. You know, you had Wii Sports. Wii Sports pretty damn fun. Everybody done bowled on Wii Sports. I guarantee you probably bowled on Wii Sports. Tennis was fun. Even like the Wii Fit, like it was stupid, but it was fun,
and it sold really well.
Yeah, I think the only thing that will probably sell that was like that was probably like Rock Band and like Dance Dance Revolution.
But even the Wii had those games on it, so it was
they're already with it. But it's just, I think the thing that the reason why Nintendo even is still existing right now, because of course companies like Sega getting ate up and stuff, is because they're willing to be innovative enough, and they're willing to go out on a limb and be able to actually do that. So like right now they got the cardboard thing going on. And I don't, it's expensive as hell, but the commercial I popped up on YouTube. I watched that whole damn thing.
Oh yeah,
it was like a 4-minute commercial.
And I never watched.
I don't watch commercials. No. I got like a fucking baby tear in my eye. I'm like, this is so amazing. This is gaming.
And then you look at the cost, and it all brings you back to reality.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we stupid.
$70 for cardboard. Like,
yeah,
I'll make my own.
But one thing that I was watching was someone was talking about it, and they were like, "This would be really cool for me and my son to do."
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, honestly, that was a fantastic idea. Like, that's so creative. You're stepping away from games a little bit and trying to make things more fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and even with that too, though, like Nintendo, they actually were the ones that are still really pushing handhelds as well. Because you know, PlayStation was trying to do their thing, but nobody's really playing PSP like that anymore. They did it for a while, and I think it helped them. I think it helped them a lot.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, you have so many different Nintendo like Game Boys. It's extremely helpful.
Well, I was even like, when I was a kid, I got a Game Boy Micro, and literally nobody knows what that is.
I don't know.
I don't know what a Game Boy Micro is.
Well, most of it's in the name. It was a Game Boy, and it was micro. But it was the Micro came out, which was
really
So you could play SP games on it, and it was literally like 5 inches by 3 inches. And it was a really tiny thing.
I've never heard of that.
That's I have it at my house, and people,
I'm Googling this, Dan. I'm fact checking you.
It's crazy because every time I would be like, "Oh, like, do you have a Game Boy Micro?" and people are like, "What is that?" It's like, so you either had an SP or you came out with
funny.
the DSs, and now they're DS19, XD,
Yeah.
3D,
3DS.
Listen, I can't even
retro.
lie. I've been looking into, at work, I'm listening to videos and all that stuff, and I've been. I still do my job though, but
sure.
No, but I've been looking at the 3DS, and I know the 3DS has been out for like a minute, but I've been looking at it. I'm like, you know what? It'd be really cool to get a DS or to get a 3DS. Like there's Pokemon games that I haven't played.
Would you get the XL though?
Nah. No, it has to still be discreet. I'm 23 years old. I'm not walking around playing a DS, but I'll play it at home. You know, I might play it on a long flight or something.
Man.
Yeah,
be able to let your balls hang out.
That's very true. I'm a DS player, and I'm proud. No, but yeah, like they have new Pokemon games that are cool. They have Super Smash Bros on 3DS, and I'm like, you know what? And I can play Mario Kart, can play Mario.
You know what I think?
I'm like that's cool.
I
like
think people aren't really understanding that, you know, by being so non Nintendo, that you're really missing out on some really fun games. Like, I'm not saying fun, like I have the conversation with Roy before, not like fun where it's just this is cool, I'm killing something. Fun like I feel like a child. Like, this is joy. I'm getting joy from playing. You get joy from playing
joy.
Mario Kart. Like, that's crazy fun. Like playing just Super Mario in general is fun as hell, and you don't have to be online. And our set's gonna fall off, but you don't have to be online to do anything. You don't have to be competitive. You can literally just do first person, or you could literally just play a single player game, and that'd be the reason why you're buying it. And even without that, like if you're playing like Brawl
is so fun. Smash Bros.
I never got good at it, so I never like.
But come on, you still had to have fun a little bit.
I mean, I could see how it could be fun, but somehow these people, like, there's cheat codes in sequences of buttons you're supposed to put in, and it's just my mind. I just want to run, jump, and kick. Like,
I mean, you can play it like that.
You can
though.
play it like
Yeah,
that.
Like
get
you
your
can
ass
play it
whooped.
real simple. Like literally, you can. The thing about Nintendo games, the way I find is like you can play it where you're like really serious about it, or you could just be very casual. Like you can jump between like I'm an extreme Super Smash Bros. Player.
Yep.
Like I'm going to tournaments and stuff like that, or you can be like I'm a casual Super Smash Bros. Player.
Yeah.
I can play. I'll play with my friends, even if I die every time. I'm still having a good time.
And,
you know.
and it's funny that you say that because like when trying to play Destiny with guys like Obino or whatever, or Roy, it's just like they're really really good. So you're gonna get into these parties where you're extremely outmatched. It's just it's not fun. Like I haven't had fun. I haven't had honest joy playing my PlayStation
you haven't
4.
played NHL, that's why.
But like the closest thing I got to that, and it's sad to say, was playing playing NBA Live. Like that was the funnest. I actually had fun because there wasn't any stress of I have to play against these other guys. I have to make sure I don't suck for my friends. Like I can literally just enjoy the actual game for what it is.
This is where me and Justin disagree because if you can have fun playing NBA Live, then I don't know. I don't know what your taste is.
See how me and you playing it, it's not fun. But like when you're the one is fun as hell. Like that's a cool thing.
Okay.
That was fun.
I can understand that.
Well, have you guys also noticed that Nintendo hasn't really made any remakes? They've just continuously made these games. Whereas
These
like
games
PlayStation,
sequels. They have sequels.
So like with PlayStation, like we remade Crash Bandicoot. Whereas like you go to Mario
Mario
Party
Odyssey
or
now,
something
really.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a like what you're saying. It's a continuation, and they don't have that retro go back remake master
it's
trying
already
to make
there.
money off
It's in their
material.
body.
And the
Yeah.
only time they really do it is if they actually have something additional to add.
Yeah.
So like Pokemon, for example, you can take they had Fire or Red, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Then they came out with Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green. What it did was it was the same exact story, but they updated the moves, they updated the typing, like it actually changed the experience of the
Graphics.
game
Yeah.
and the
Well, then
graphics
they
too. It's
even went
colored
to
now.
Ruby and Emerald, and then you go to all the.
There's now there's Omega, Ruby, and Alpha,
So
Sapphire,
they're just
something like that.
renaming
But
red
they're renaming them, but
colors,
they're
but it's the same thing.
updating it.
Yeah.
They're bringing so that way you can relive your childhood, but have it be modern at the same time. So Nintendo is just, I think, like innovation-wise, Nintendo is like top tier.
And they're trying.
And they're really
still,
trying.
They're pushing. They're
Oh,
pushing
yeah,
that
yeah.
envelope while still being able to stay true to their
Like
staple.
a lot of people when they saw the Switch for the first time,
Yeah.
they sat there and they're like when they lifted it off the console and they had it as a handheld,
That's
everybody's
crazy.
like, whoa,
That's
like I
crazy.
can literally play like a high caliber game in the palm of my hands
Right.
and then put it on my screen, and now they're making a projector for it too.
Exactly.
So it's cool. I mean,
It's
that's
nice.
really cool. That's general fun that you
He's like,
have
oh,
in the game.
you can do that with an Xbox. Like, yeah, you can do it with an
PSP.
Xbox.
PSP.
No, I'm saying like you have to go buy like things to make it compatible. It's doable. You can
This
do
is
it.
all one thing.
Right. It comes with it.
Yeah.
Like for a kid, like I'm not buying my kid a PlayStation 4. If I have a kid, if I had a kid at this time, you're getting a Switch.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be playing
And
it
I'm
with
gonna
you.
be playing it now. And then on top, like, where are you getting your Pokemon at? Like, nobody's playing Pokemon, but like that what's the fighting game of that one?
Oh, Pokken tournament. Actually, a lot of people are still playing Pokemon, so don't just.
No,
throw it
I'm
out.
saying on like
Pokemon
PlayStation.
Go?
Based.
Oh yeah,
PlayStation, Xbox
Pokken
based.
tournament. Yeah,
But like Pokemon, like I saw that at Target, and Ashley called me like 5 times, and I saw her call me like twice, and I didn't.
You're just sitting there, just playing.
I'm like,
Sorry, I got caught up in a match.
She'll find me. But yeah, like it's crazy how innovative Nintendo can be, and still how true to their staple it can be, and still be that much of an underdog.
And one last thing that I want to throw in a tidbit. I think when the Switch was coming out, Zelda, the new Zelda game that came out, it actually sold. They sold more games than they sold the Switch system.
Wow.
So, which you might think, okay, is that a bad thing? I think that's a fantastic thing. That means that Nintendo, like you said, they are innovative with their titles, and it just helps push the system out.
And it's
and the
fan
system.
base is kind of stupid.
I don't think it's.
You can't
play the game. Yeah, I guess okay. That's fair. I just want to have it. I just want it.
I'm gonna have this, and then when I have
I'm just gonna look at
it.
I'm just gonna look at it and appreciate it.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, I think that's really cool. Like you know your fan base, and you give them something different every single time, so nothing seems like the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
Cadillac of the video games.
He's been holding that one in all
No, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, everybody's grandparents drove a Cadillac. Everybody's parents at some point know every single model of a Cadillac. You see an older car on the road, it's in the Cadillac. Everybody's losing their shit. And then now the new stuff, the Escalades and CT6s, they're like, they look like spaceships and they're futuristic and technologies that aren't in any other car. But it's Cadillac. So like they change with the times. Nintendo changed with the times. It's interesting to see where it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think it's gonna stick here, man. Like if the Switch can, really do something in the next console they drop, or even if this cardboard thing if it picks up, like if they're able to,
they need to drop the price for it to pick up.
They gotta drop the price,
like
that's
$15-$20 at most. Nintendo.
But now you can get away for $50 at the at the pawn shop. Like the stuff drops. Still still got consoles running around here.
Why don't you just have it where you can print out a template, reuse pizza boxes, and put it as like a green option or recycle option?
I think that'd be dope if they did that.
Yeah. Now you're playing Wii with the smells and aromas of old pizza, and you didn't have to pay $70.
So you guys remember how we talked about last week? We come up with solutions. Nintendo, that's your solution.
There you go.
There you go.
They can make like a little miniature motherboard to put hook up whatever they need to hook up to, but essentially
you literally just put in the Switch controller, and the cardboard thing just acts as like a holder for the most part.
Like do better, guys. You guys you're doing this.
Don't sell us $70 cardboard.
Right. That's
we just praised you, so just listen to what we have to say on that.
That's definitely not cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up episode 3. We're actually working as a team, so this one's going to come out to you more than likely before Wednesday. And hopefully we'll have better friends to come to things. The only person that's, Swims. What's up, Swims? You keep doing your pharmacy stuff. Matt, I know you had black people things to do, so take care of those things.
What are those?
That's why we have the DLC.
Right. We don't need to give you a segment there. Yeah. Or maybe we do. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Go.